Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun as always is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
So I get, how many years do I get?
What?
9?
No,
10?
Reed, this is bad. This is a bad idea.
10. But so Richard dies instantly.
No,
I take over the
wait,
whole
hold
podcast.
on. What?
I get all the ad revenue.
Oh no!
And we finally get like the number of listeners that we want to get for the show.
No.
Okay.
Oh my God! What's that sound? What's that? Oh my God! There's dogs coming through the door! Ah!
Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We face a ghost, when others will not, we're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We face a nightmare, we face a dread! Ghostfacers! We face a faceless, we face a dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 2, Episode number 8. But before we start talking about this episode, we have some very special guests. Oh my God. We are joined by actor and creator of the upcoming series Lineage, which is set in the supernatural universe.
So cool.
I know. Welcome, Clay and Victoria.
Hey guys,
Hey.
Oh my God. This is our biggest get, I think.
Oh, so cool.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Unbelievable. The more that I've been like going through your like content that you've been putting out through like Instagram and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this seems so rad.
I know. I've been really digging the Dean posts, the Dean pictures.
Yes.
Stalking my Instagram. All right.
Stalking. It's out there.
Yeah. You made it
just
publicly
passively
available.
observing.
Yeah.
This is very true.
Not my fault. I'm scrolling.
Can't stop. I've been following Clay. I've been following your account for a really long time. Didn't even realize the Lineage thing had been happening since we started talking about this podcast. I started like sort of diving deeper into the sort of all of the fan base more than I had been before, and I found your account right away, and I thought it was so cool. I loved all the content you were putting out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, your whole journey has been really, really cool. So I appreciate you being so transparent about everything that's going on, and like, I'm that's a really vulnerable thing, and we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I know that. I mean, it was just really nice to be able to do that because I know for me, being able to see the other side was really what helped me figure myself out. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to go through it, then I might as well be open and see if it helps anybody else out. So
it's
awesome.
It's a really incredible thing, but that's not what this is about. What I want to talk about is Lineage, because it's so cool. We have the creator here. Can you talk to me a bit about sort of how this thing started coming together?
Yes. So we went through several different drafts of Lineage. The first draft that we had, I thought it would be a great idea to have Benjamin Braden as Dean's son.
Oh,
and
okay.
I thought it was going to be great. And then I showed a couple of the actors of Supernatural, and they looked at it and said no. They said it could not carry on as a series, maybe like an episode, but it could not be a season-long story.
Right.
So they were like, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to start over, which kicked me in the gut because I worked on that for about a year.
Sure. Yeah.
And then came out with this new idea now, which everyone seems to like, and it's pretty solid. So I'm very happy with it now. And it's about two sisters, half angel, half demon. And they're a new creature called an Arcosius. And they're also hunters as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, who are the real monsters, humans or monsters, and it touches more upon that, and it takes place after the angels fall in Supernatural. So that's when our series starts.
Oh, we could solve this question right now. It's humans. Humans are the real monsters.
Oh, yeah, humans are definitely the monsters.
Probably so.
no, I'd agree with that one.
Spoiler alert.
People.
I mean, it's such a cool idea, and I love the setting it sort of like concurrently to the show. I think that's a really good idea, really like fun way to kind of expand the world a little bit.
We really want to go back to the old, the older seasons of Supernatural, like back to when there was more urban legends and more monsters and we wanted to introduce new monsters. So the seasons 1 to 5 of Supernatural is kind of what we're basing Lineage on.
Right.
Just more like the vibe and everything that they had going on.
So
That's
are you going to
awesome.
plan to only have 5 seasons and then find out you need to make another 10 more?
No comment. We're kind of going as we're
I have two. I'm going to be selfish here. I have two pitches.
Okay.
One, we discovered a monster that the show never used that I think is the most terrifying thing ever.
Give it. Yes.
It's called the Knuckle of V. It's imagine like a guy. Imagine a guy riding a horse, but the top half of the guy is fused to the horse. The whole thing is skinless. The horse is a cyclops. It comes from the sea, and and it's got arms that can reach the ground.
What?
We did an entire episode.
I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah. It's the worst thing ever, and almost nobody.
It's a like Orkney Scottish like monster that I found just specifically to creep out Richard.
It worked.
So there you go.
I'm equally creeped out.
That's pitch number 1. Pitch number 2: if you ever have a flashback sequence and you need a young Bobby, I feel
fair. That's so fair.
I feel like that's the look I've got now.
Yeah, no, that works. The personality's slowly coming in there too.
Yeah, idiot.
Yeah, we can only just get that level of intelligence, and we'd really be sad.
Yeah, if only I had read that many books.
Oh my God, that's incredible. So maybe I'd love to know about both of your sort of histories with Supernatural in general. When did you get into the show, and like how was your sort of journey? I know some people have jumped off. I definitely jumped off like season 6 and then came back a couple of years later. No idea why, but tell me about it.
You want
to go first?
Okay. So what's funny is I was watching Smallville. Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I had seen Jensen on Smallville.
Right.
And then, Smallville used to run and then Supernatural would be right after. So the Supernatural commercial came on like coming up next. And I'm like, that's the same dude.
Right.
So what is this? And so I decided to watch it. And that was in 2005. It was at the end of the first season.
Right.
And I was hooked. So I watched it pretty religiously until about season 6. And then I still watched, but I wasn't as just, attached to it.
What happened in season 6?
I don't know. There was a season 6?
No, really, what happened in season 6?
Season 6. Well, that's real.
No, that's awesome.
We just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you were on right from the beginning then. You were just watching while it was happening.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
I was on from the beginning, which, oh my gosh, that makes me like, I think I was 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's not do that math.
No.
2005. Don't stop. Just stop doing it. I can see you doing it. It's not good.
It shouldn't be this hard.
No, I think we were 15.
I was 18.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 18. We're old.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Victoria?
For me, so my friend was sick, so we both stayed home from school, like do that logic as best friends,
Yeah.
And
that doesn't work anymore.
She had a doctor's appointment and she was like, I'm going to be gone for like probably all day. She had the first 2 seasons of Supernatural on DVD. Right. And she was like, you have to watch this. You can't watch anything else. I'm like, why? And she was like, you have to watch it. So I binged and sat there and watched these seasons of Supernatural. And by the time she got back, I was addicted. And then I started watching it on TV around season 3, and then I was all caught up. So I started watching all the way through, and that's kind of how that happened.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
What a good friend.
What a good friend. I know.
So where are you at with the Lineage production right now?
Oh man. So right now we have to get promos out, and we're working on getting an official trailer out, which could take possibly talking to investors and things like that. So we're kind of working on getting the pitch ready. Mm-hmm. So the series Bible and all that stuff. So once we have everything ready to go, we have people that we are going to pitch to. So we have network meetings lined up.
Wow.
And then from there, we're going to see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's so awesome. So do you have any insight into where the rights are currently lying? Because I've been seeing so much stuff constantly going on right now.
There's a lot with that. It's even confusing to us. Like, even I'm not 100% sure.
Because they pulled it off CW recently, right?
Yeah, like there's it's in the air. Like, it's hard to even pinpoint on what's going on with that right now. It's messy.
Because Jensen's been talking about trying to take the rights, right?
Yeah, he has. And then he has his production company going on right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's kind of up in the air right now, which, because it's kind of up in the air, it kind of puts us in a weird spot as well.
Totally.
Right.
Because if, like, let's say we don't get the rights to anything of Supernatural, then that means, like, there's certain things we can keep, like certain lore we can have, but then some things we have to take out. So you know, it's kind of like that line that we're trying not to cross and be careful.
Well, luckily, I mean, so much of the is based on like existing things in reality. So like, there's so much that you can just keep and be like, angels are angels. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't copyright angels.
Yeah.
As much as the Catholic Church has tried to, but
that's a different story.
But that's so cool. I can't wait. I hope that we can continue to along with this story with you, because I love the idea. I think it's such a cool thing.
Does this mean that we have to do a concurrent Lineage podcast as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Patreon.
Oh yeah, that's the Patreon. Yeah, we'll make money off their hardware.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's get into today's episode.
Let's do it.
That's right. Crossroad Blues, airing November 16th, 2006.
Right.
Wow.
This is like the coming up on my birthday in that year.
That doesn't seem
every
important.
year, but
no, only 2006.
Yeah.
You are 1 year
I have
old.
a floating birthday.
Yes. Written by the one and only Sarah Gamble.
That's right.
A name that we are going to see come up a lot more as we go through and become more and more prominent. I don't know about you, but I definitely am a huge Sarah Gamble fan. What about y'all?
Oh yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I think, like, have you been on her Instagram? Incredible content that she's been putting out. These like writer interviews and stuff that she's been doing.
Yeah,
they're really cool. This episode was directed by Steve Boyum and was viewed by an estimated 3.16 million viewers.
Right on.
So par for the course, I think. A little bit under, but not too bad.
Also just want to say, I know it's not the only episode that has this, but it makes me laugh every time I see executive producer McG.
Oh, McG's big.
Yeah.
That always makes me laugh.
It's very good. McG's a big force in the entertainment industry.
Apparently.
Yeah. But let's get to everyone's favorite part.
Yes.
International titles.
Let's do it.
So, what was this episode called all around the world? We have a few that we pulled from. Who got it straight down the middle here? Brazil and Poland.
Right. Crossroad Blues.
Nailed it. Okay. How could we go different from that?
Sure.
Germany.
Germany, I'm going to say like Devil at the Crossroad.
Crossroad to Hell.
Crossroad to Hell. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But you're heading in the right direction for Italy.
Oh, is it like a devil at the crossroad?
Deal with the devil.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're slowly straying away from it. We got one step further. Hungary coming in early here.
Okay, so it can't be that crazy if we're doing Hungary right now. Like Devil's Bargain or something like that. Or
Deal with the demon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how they just maybe it just doesn't translate, but they completely dropped like the blues pun from the title.
We don't care about blues.
Yeah. Yeah. Music is irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've been working on my Hungarian accent. Yeah.
That's nice.
And the French. Oh, yeah.
French one is
it's short.
Okay.
It's short.
Oh, so
but very French.
Right. Deal.
Close.
Oh.
The Pact.
That's good, actually.
Right?
I like that title. That's
yeah. And the final one.
Finland,
that's right.
Finland, is it something real hardcore?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I have no idea.
The Touch of Blues. The complete wrong thing to take away from this episode.
The Touch of Blues is like the alternate title for like Soul or something. You know, like that's like the Pixar Touch of Blues.
That seems like a Leaving Neverland like alt title.
Yeah.
Oh no. The touch of blues. Wow.
Weird.
All right. Featured music from this episode. Obviously, Crossroad Blues from Robert Johnson.
Of course.
Downhearted Blues by Son House.
Sure.
Key to the Highway by Little Walter.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got a Little Walter here. I got Key to the Highway. Hey. And Hair of the Dog by Nazareth.
Oh yeah.
Oh
okay,
yeah.
Fun fact about Nazareth. Nazareth at one point, like they broke up, and then two different parts of the group were touring as Nazareth.
Really?
Both parts of the group toured to my hometown. Like Nazareth played the Fall Fair in Cambridge, Ontario, like 5 times. I've seen Nazareth so many times.
What?
Yeah.
Did they do competing shows at the same time?
No, never that. But I've seen different performances by Nazareth, and then like Trooper and Chilliwack, all those kind of bands.
Yeah.
Always in my hometown.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. TV Guide describes this episode as the brothers encounter a demon who gives people their heart's desire in exchange for their souls. The demon reveals to Dean the truth about his father's death and make him an offer, exploiting Dean's desire to have his dad back.
Wait, are you saying that daddy issues are the key to this episode?
To this episode?
Just the episode?
This specific episode?
That doesn't seem right. Yeah, only this one. Actually, it was just this one, and then they get over it.
What a weird turn for the show.
But before we get into our thoughts on today's episode, let's open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore about today's monster.
Yeah, let's see what the lore says about Faustian bargains.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby.
That's the real world monster today?
Yeah, meaning a deal with the devil.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the word Faustian refers to the character from Christopher Marlowe's play, The Tragical History of
Marlowe
Dr.
and
Faustus.
Marlowe.
No,
No?
not like Muppet Christmas Carol. No, there's a play from the late 1500s by Christopher Marlowe called The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus. It's about a man who brokers a deal with Lucifer for command of magic, but he has to surrender his body and soul to hell after 27 years.
It's my magic. Only if you give your soul to the devil.
Are you just trying to perform the play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe we'll stick to podcasting, huh?
Oh, here's your soul. Ha ha.
He signs a contract in blood.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Jesus Christ. So,
continue.
Oh, now I can?
Yeah.
Therefore, like a Faustian bargain is any deal made by like the moral is that you have to abandon your morality. You have to embrace evil or embrace Lucifer to get something.
First choice made long time ago.
Oh God.
What?
Yeah, that's why we have all this podcasting success.
Yeah, look at it.
So the tale itself is based on a German legend, which is itself based on possibly one or two historical figures from like barely 100 years earlier.
Whoa.
So like the play is like based on a legend, but the guy it's about was like within a couple of lifetimes of the play.
I mean, and what's great is that's the only really important book that something like that's ever happened.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so it's been debated at different times whether the real Faust ever existed. It's possible there's one or two different people that have sort of been like amalgamated into that legend. So some of the historical evidence and records imply that there's a Faust who was like a traveling doctor, an alchemist, a philosopher who is frequently accused of fraud. So some of the accusations include abuse of like students and stuff like that. He at one point escaped punishment for the crime of sodomy, which of course was a crime back then. We're talking like the 15th century here. There are historical notes that he was barred entry from various German towns for the practice of magic and sodomy. But other notes from other towns regard him as a respected astrologer. So like some people were like, this charlatan, and other people were like, no, come on in. We love
It's about the science.
Yeah. His death is dated to like around 1540 in an explosion resulting from experiments in alchemy. So he was doing some sort of like something, and it exploded, and his body was so horribly mutilated by the explosion that his injuries were interpreted as demonic, which led to the legend that the devil himself had come to collect Faust's soul, and that was the price for his bargain.
He was just cooking crystal in his trailer.
That's basically it. Is he was like running a meth lab, and they were like, "This is Satan."
I mean, yeah.
So Faust is the most common touchstone that we have, like, in Western culture. Like, The Simpsons did an episode, we're signing the contract in blood. Like, we're referencing the Dr.
You can have all the donuts you want.
The Felix Faust is a character in DC Comics who, like, trades his soul for magical power.
Totally.
Like, we come back to Faust a lot, but soul selling as a concept dates back further. Apparently, in the 6th century in Greece, Theophilus of Adana is said to have been the first person to sell his soul to the devil, apparently in exchange for happiness, which I think is the saddest thing ever. Like, didn't ask for wealth, power, they just wanted to be happy.
And that man was Reed's great-great-great-grandfather.
Turns out, direct descent. I'm a direct descendant.
Makes a lot of sense. I see it now.
So other supposed devil pacts. I think this is the fun part.
Yes.
So here's the first one that I found. Pope Sylvester II.
What?
It was a 10th century pope who was said to have taken the papacy by way of either a dice game with the devil or a pact with a lesser demon. And this allegation was levied by, like, a cardinal.
What?
That cardinal said that this pope had sorcery power, like, was a sorcerer.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So there you go. Bernard, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Bernard Faki. There's no way that's how it's pronounced.
What the Faki?
Meet the Faki.
Oh yeah.
So he was a 17th century captain for the Dutch East India Company.
Yeah.
Supposedly known for his uncanny speed at sea. People thought he had made a bargain with the devil to make him, like, uncatchable or, like, the fastest ship on the ocean. And it's believed that it might be the inspiration or origin for Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman.
Whoa.
Is this guy?
Fastest seaman in the East.
Oh, I mean, come on. And then, of course, connected to today, Robert Johnson, a blues musician from the early 20th century, who allegedly sold his soul at a Crossroads to gain mastery of the guitar. He's known as, like, a legend of the Delta blues.
Yeah.
Who supposedly made a Faustian bargain.
Wow.
But yeah, so, like, things about, like, signing the contract with something, like, of you, like your blood or your spit or something like that. The idea of, like, eventually they'll come to collect your soul. It's not just when you die, it's that you will die earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things are set up in, like, the Faust kind of lore. We get a lot of that for today's episode.
Wow. Yeah. I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I like the idea of a magical pope.
Yeah, like a sorcerer pope is
that's the next Jude Law season.
Kind of where he's both Dumbledore and the young pope.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm into that.
Yeah.
That's hot. That's hot.
I want to see a pope doing, like, the Rise of Skywalker lightning thing. Like,
I love that. Well, on top of today's monster lore, let's click through Sam's search history and learn about the real person discussed in
it's a good thing it's
episode.
Sam's search history.
But I made it very, very clear.
Sam.
This is a very different segment of its team.
Let's talk about busty Asians. Yeah. Robert Johnson. Let's talk about Robert Johnson's for a second.
Sure.
Robert Johnson was a young and, by all accounts, untalented boy who, in the early 1920s, when he was in his late teens, this is one of the things that I actually love about the story of Robert Johnson is that, like canonically, they were like, "Oh, this guy sucked." Like,
yeah,
like everyone was just like, "He got good, but God, he was the worst forever."
Yeah.
I love that that's, like, imprinted as part of his history. He would hang around in bars listening to blues musicians of the day. Mm-hmm. He dreamed of being able to play like them. From accounts of his contemporaries, he disappeared for a few months. And when he resurfaced, he could play blues better than anyone. I mean, There's no way that he could have put 10,000 hours in that time. There's no way that he could have, like, I don't know, practiced.
What if it was a Groundhog Day scenario?
Yeah, potential. Yeah. No. He shot to fame almost overnight. Again, that never happens.
Yeah, I mean, I like the sort of I mean, if you really look at this, there's an overtone of like the racist.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
How could a black person
Yeah.
possibly gain a skill?
Yeah.
Like
Must have been the devil.
There's a big overtone
Yeah.
of that in this
Yeah.
legend.
His music does feature many occult references, maybe because, I don't know, persecution.
Yeah.
And the legend grew that he had sold his soul to the devil in return for his talent and fame. He died at 27.
Yeah, he died early, yeah.
Isn't that the number?
The 27 Club is
Yeah.
like the thing they talk about. That's like Cobain and...
Oh, no. Are you 27?
I'm 27.
Oh, no.
Quick, finish production.
Yeah.
We have to hurry
Do
up.
it.
We gotta
Do
film
it for the
this
show.
We have to leave now, Clay.
Oh, no.
God, the show will get so famous, at least not just for that. Let's do this.
Oh, God.
Just like all those people who died for that Spider-Man play. Now the show's number one.
I know, but I mean, worth it, right?
Oh, yeah, because
No, I don't think so.
he died at 27 under mysterious circumstances. There are several different accounts of his death, and he left behind at least 3 women claiming to be his widow. That must be devilry. That's the...
Or he bedeviled them.
Oh. Well, there's no way that he could satisfy 3 women. That's impossible, right?
No one can say.
That's impossible. Must be.
Just out ourselves as
Yeah.
really horrible lovers.
Yeah, that's why we're husbands.
Yeah.
It is unknown if or when he was buried. To this day, he remains an artistic legend, and those who remembered him maintained till they died that they had never seen anything like him before or since. Robert Johnson traveled to Texas, where he made 2 recordings with Don Law, the famed country producer, in 1937. He recorded in San Antonio, and in 1938, he recorded in Dallas. In total, Johnson recorded 29 songs with 13 surviving alternate recordings. In August
13?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Not
the
13.
number, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Evidence.
In August 1938, Johnson was dead. That same year, John Hammond wanted to bring Johnson to Carnegie Hall to do a show, but instead sold tickets to patrons to come and listen to a record of Johnson's recording.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Insane. So we've
Wow.
got Faustian deals. We've got Robert Johnson. And that's where we start in this episode. What an intro.
Crazy.
Let's jump in right at the crossroads, baby.
Let's do it.
Dean confronts a crossroad demon who makes him a tempting offer. Oh my God. All of the bustiations you could imagine. 1 year of your life.
Yeah. Here's a free Mr. Skin Pro account.
Worth it. Worth it. But we open at a 1938 bar.
Mhm.
The episode opens in a low-lit bar in 1938. A guitar player is playing on stage, holding a cigarette in his mouth. Right away, here's a really interesting fact. Filtered cigarettes were created in early enough time to be the choice of ladies, such as Marlboro were introduced in 1922. Since Robert Johnson was quite the ladies' man, he might have been smoking one of his wife's cigarettes, but typically it was in the time period was not actually typical for men.
Oh, to smoke a cigarette with a filter. on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I love this first scene. I mean, this is one of the first times we really go back in time like this.
Yeah, it's really atmospheric, but it's funny that both this episode and the H.H. Holmes one are so like close together that like this season is very clearly like we need more like real life stuff.
Yeah,
Like riffing on like actual like legends and like like not just the vagaries of like a vampire or something like that.
With Lineage, are you working towards sort of like the typical horror parodies or like real world stuff? Like what's sort of been inspiring?
A mix of both.
That's awesome.
As well as stories that other people have created as well.
Ooh.
Kind of creepypasta-esque as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Tons of different cool things, so it's gonna be nice.
Oh, that's really cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's dope.
that's something that didn't really exist when the show was creating was a lot of the creepypasta stuff. So that's a really fun way to take on that because it must be challenging to find stuff that sort of hasn't been spoken about on the show.
Very.
Like what
Yeah, like we used like a Mothman like hint on what he was fighting in like a small promo that we did. And so many people guessed Mothman right off the bat, and I wasn't expecting that. I was like, well, there's a lot of things that have red eyes, and they were like, Mothman. I'm like, okay.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. So he glances casually at a young woman in the audience. Suddenly he hears growling from outside and stops.
Yeah.
However, when he stops playing, the growling stops. He continues to play, but every few seconds the growling would start again. And each time he heard it, he would stop playing. He suddenly notices a large shadowy figure dash by the window outside. He drops a cigarette to the ground and darts to the door. With his guitar still in hand, the bluesman runs down a dark road, dropping his guitar in a panic. I mean, such a great intro. The cinematography, especially in this episode, is amazing. I really, really love this episode so much.
It's funny because they kind of have the sort of like old timey kind of desaturated filter on it, but it doesn't feel like silly, like watching like a newsreel or something like that. You know, like it's they find like the line between like we know visually right away that we're watching the past, but also it's not like it doesn't come off as like too flippant or anything.
Absolutely. They really play the line, I think, really quite nicely in this.
Like the shadow by the window, and like it would just go to each window.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, this is the first time we're encountering a creature like this. I think we'll talk about it more as we go through, but it's a terrifying idea.
Yeah.
The song performed at the beginning of this episode is a bluesy acoustic version of Larry Davis's Texas Flood, made famous by Stevie Ray Vaughan, going along with the show's classic rock theme. Nice. So it's actually like an interpretation of this sort of popular song that Stevie Ray Vaughan did, which is a nice sort of connection.
Yeah. They don't have Robert Johnson playing and then some guy going like, "It's me, your cousin, Marvin Berry." You know that?
You know that new soulful sound based on a bunch of hate and pain?
Yeah. It's me, your cousin, Marvin Muddy Waters.
Marvin Waters. Take a look at this. All of the doomed characters in this episode made their Crossroad deals at Lloyd's Bar. In the 1986 film Crossroads, not the Britney Spears one, in which an elderly bluesman who performed with Robert Johnson as a youngster attempts to nullify a contract he signed that traded his soul for a harmonica mastery of all of the instruments.
Yeah. Got to pick a better instrument.
So cool. The two main characters busk outside an ill-reputed club named after its odious owner, Lloyd.
Yeah.
So a big connection to the original Crossroads. Yeah, pretty sweet. I love it.
But yeah, so our musician Robert Johnson, he's running. He's got to get. He runs into like a barn or like a building or something. He tries to like get away from.
He's basically running down a dark road, and then it just sort of cuts. It doesn't. We don't get a blood splatter. We don't get the. I hope in Lineage we get it. We get the classic intro blood splatter.
Oh yeah.
Love that. I love those. I mean, it must be such an interesting thing for you to rewatch when rewatching the show now from like a filmmaking like analytical aisle. Has that really changed the way that you sort of perceive the show?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. And I think Kripke mentioned like how they got the blood splatter in the earlier seasons was they filled like a water balloon with like blood and then they would like throw it on the wall. And I'm like, that's so interesting to me. I'm like, what?
So have you done that same technique?
We haven't tried it yet, but I really want to.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you. You don't even need a camera. You could just go do it.
I'm gonna get
Human blood.
Oh God.
What? Huh?
Jeez Louise.
Huh? He rushes home, bolting the door, and pushes a chair under the doorknob. However, the chair doesn't keep hold as the door breaks open, and Sadie, the young woman, and the two guys rush in to find the blues man having some sort of seizure.
Yeah, and she's trying to say like, talk to me, like what's happening or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say like black dogs?
That's basically it. The blues man responds by whispering black dogs, which
very
is
creepy.
Which is also the thing that Robert Johnson said. Was that black
dogs? Did he actually say that in
He said
real
black
life?
dogs were chasing him. That was the last thing people had heard him saying.
He actually said that. Yes, he did.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm convinced.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's enough for me.
Yep.
converting to Catholicism.
He's out. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah. So now we go to present day.
That's right.
Sam's on his laptop. Big surprise.
What a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Kept telling you're the Sam here. And informed Dean's that Dean's officially in the Fed's database. Who's like laughing it off, and he is like, great. And Sam's like, this is not funny. This makes our jobs a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
This is something that I love.
Everything that happened last episode,
Yeah.
which is so fun to revisit, even the stuff that happened from the first season in St. Louis and stuff like that. But it's nice that they do they never just fully drop it. They do have to grapple with the idea that like there's a warrant out for Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most impressive things I think about this show is its ability to sort of like connect that continuity in a way that like other shows never do, right? Like it must be so challenging from like a writing perspective to have to like try to replicate those types of things. You're like, what exactly happened in the last episode or 5 or a season ago, right? Like having to always be thinking about like, how does this implicate us based on everything else we've ever done and are going to do? So basically, they're having this conversation. However, there's nothing in the database about Sam yet, which is a good thing.
Well, yeah,
And Sam's just like, what?
Or Sam slightly offended.
Is it? Do you think that's a meta commentary on just like the fans are all about Dean? And Sam's like, me? Am I? Okay.
I've done things.
It's not on a database for me. No. That's amazing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the fact. They're going over their current hunt. Sam tells Dean that architect Sean Boyden, connection to Boyum, the director, maybe.
Oh, sure.
Plummeted to his death from the roof of his home, a condominium he designed himself. He called animal control 2 days earlier and reported seeing vicious wild black dogs. Authorities couldn't find the dogs and no one else saw them. After that, he didn't show up for work and 2 days later he died. God, I hate the idea that I don't show up for 2 days and people are like, "Man, I'm sure it's fine."
They're fine. I'm sure they're fine.
They're okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
You want people to immediately worry.
Yeah, instantly.
Right.
If I'm an hour late,
you don't want anyone to have any degree of calm.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. Constantly checking in where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah. That's the kind of employees I'm looking for. Sam says there are spectral black dogs all over the world. Some say they're animal spirits, and others say they're death omens. Right. Sam and Dean pose as writers for an architectural digest and talk to Sean's business partner.
Doesn't Dean say something kind of like silly, like could
Yes.
hump the crap out of your leg?
Hump the crap out of your leg.
Oh, is that a dirtbag Dean? Yeah.
It's a little dirtbag, Dean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too
No,
bad.
it's not that bad. He's getting better. We're
Dean
seeing a
is
progression.
getting so much better.
He's getting a little better.
We're progressing.
Yeah, because he's always got the bit of sleaze in him, but dirtbag Dean from first season is like rough. This is not so bad.
Yeah. I do like the idea though that Dean has to like do this translation where Sam like gives him just raw facts and then Dean is like, is this about food or sex? And then puts
how can
it
I
through
make
the
it about
processor
those?
and then it comes back and he's like, oh, I understand a dog. It could hump your leg. And Sam's like, good.
Yeah.
Let's get in the Impala, buddy.
That's incredible. They find out he lived a charmed life, but 10 years ago he couldn't design for beans. Ha.
He was trying to design beans.
Yeah. Well, no, he was just designing for beans. Bean had hired him.
Right.
A small cup of beans.
A can of beans was like, I need a condo.
Yeah. And he couldn't do it. Couldn't even design for beans.
So stupid.
He worked as a bartender at a place called Guest Lloyd's.
There you go.
There it is. There's a connection. Then overnight, he became a genius designer, designing some of the most ingenious buildings anyone had ever seen.
I know that there's like, there's obviously a skill and an art to being an architect, but like to call a building genius is like, it's still like basically a building. Like it's, does it not fall down and can you find the rooms?
Whoa,
and if you do those two
that's
things,
a possibility?
Are you a
That's
genius?
genius.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know. I mean, this building is popsicle sticks and a lot of hope. I can't imagine you could just have a building that's not a problem.
Do either of you know anyone in your real life that overnight gained a skill? Do you suspect any of your close friends or family of having made a devil's bargain?
A motivated deal.
Oh.
Oh no!
I could immediately think of that.
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Me.
Yeah. I was also going to say you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're in
no.
trouble, man.
Oh no!
That's why it's good that this podcast we'll get to the end of season 15 within 7 years. It gives you 3 more years to just do whatever you want after that.
Wait, you can get more than 1 year?
Uh-oh.
Oh no! I need to
Oh,
make a call. I need to make a Crossroads call.
You didn't read the fine print, did you?
No, I didn't. I found a person to kiss. That was all I could think about. So the boys stop by animal control to get more information. Dean speaks with a girl named Carly who tells him they've received 19 calls total. But who's got the time?
Yeah, but I mean 19 calls is a lot about like a thing they can't find.
Yes.
Right?
It's slightly concerning at that point. She gives them the address of Sylvia Perlman, who was also the most recent person to report seeing black dogs.
Right.
I'm sure they're not related.
Oh.
So Carly also gives Dean her own MySpace address.
Yes.
I love it so much.
I mean you're younger than we are.
Yes.
But
Yes.
was MySpace like a
Yes.
thing for
Yeah.
you guys?
It was.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, when this came out, MySpace was definitely still a thing.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh, this episode
The
showing
age.
the age.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did y'all have the like sparkly like pages or like things that are moving around or anything?
No,
Yeah.
I
definitely
did.
custom music.
I did.
Oh yeah.
I decked out.
Oh 2000 and
My high school band had a MySpace page.
Oh yeah. 2006. It was like mine was probably like My Chemical Romance is like your intro song. Ooh.
Mine's probably a lot of DMB.
Oh God.
I was
You were the worst.
That was
Yeah.
my bro phase. I
Yeah,
was probably-
absolutely.
Bro phase, oh no.
Do you remember what your intro music was, Clay?
I don't remember which song, but I know it was Metallica.
Oh yeah.
nice.
That's good. I mean that's way cooler than ours.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What are you talking
Mine was
about?
pretty lame. I'm 90% sure I had a Twilight layout.
Oh yeah.
I
I'm pretty
think
sure I did.
I think mine was the he wakes up in the morning. I think it was that.
I don't know if I've told this story. I feel like I've told this story everywhere, but I have a very funny Twilight story.
Oh no.
So I mean, the Twilight came out what year in the movies? The movies came out what, like 2007, 2008, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
So I would have been like 18, 19 or something like that. And I had heard there was a vampire movie called Twilight, but I was just like, well, vampires are cool. Vampires couldn't be like dreamy and like hearts in your eyes, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so I was at the movie theater by myself waiting for somebody, and I was like, I got 2 hours to spare. I saw Twilight was going on, and I was like, oh, I'll go check it out. I literally never read the books, didn't know what the movie was. I didn't know that it was also the premiere screening. So I get into the theater and I show up and I'm like, the movie had just started, so I was late, and I walk in and I was like, oh, it seems like this place is packed. I'll just sit at like the very front. It's fine. So I sit in like the very front row in like the dead center middle. And I'm not really looking at who's sitting around at all. And I'm sitting in and the movie's going and I'm like, oh, the cinematography's pretty cool. Oh, this teen's okay. I mean, it still feels kind of cool. And then Robert Pattinson walks in and I was deafened by the screams around me. And I start looking around because it's also bright at that point. And I look and I just see it's all like 13-year-old girls as far as the eye could see. And I'm the one dude with like I think I had a mustache at the time, to be honest, too.
Oh my God.
And I'm like dead center. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to jail. This isn't good.
No.
The usher is holding the doors shut until the cops get there.
It was not good. That being said, I watched that whole
We're
movie.
finally gonna catch this son of a bitch.
Yeah. We saw him in Harry Potter. He's not getting away this time. I I stayed for the rest of that movie, then read all the books and saw the rest of the movies. It's a pretty good series. I'm irredeemable. I'm irredeemable already. I may as well just dive into it.
Wow.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, there you go.
And look, I've got a Harry Potter tattoo. I don't have a Twilight tattoo.
You should
at
get
least.
One.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it. That's
You
better.
should get the name Renesmee like on your neck.
Let's do it.
Wow, you just called yourself out there.
Oh damn it. Next scene. What's the next scene?
So yes. Dean says he finds he wonders if MySpace is some kind of porn site.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's the only type of websites
Dean
there
is
are.
really in like a mood this episode. He's like,
Yes.
a dog. Does the dog hump? The
website.
MySpace. Is there tits? He's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, a little bit of dirtbag Dean here.
yeah.
So now we go to Sylvia's house. Sam and Dean speak with Sylvia's maid, who find out that Sylvia disappeared 2 days ago after reporting seeing black dogs. She apparently was a surgeon at a very young age, the youngest in the history of the hospital. It was Daisy Hauser.
No, we're not doing a Doogie Howser thing.
No,
You think Doogie Howser made a devil's bargain?
that's, I mean, starting to make a lot of sense. I think NPH just did.
I will say, I feel like, I mean, it's the point of the episode because people are selling their souls for something.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to feel bad for all of these people who have like maids and giant houses and stuff like that. Like, there's a part of you that's kind of like, well, you know.
They lived happily for 10 years. They knew what they
Right.
were getting into.
They're part of the 1%. It's lonely up there. There's only 1%. She got the job 10 years ago. Dean notices a picture of Sylvia at her friends with her friends at a bar, flips it over. Lloyd's Bar, 1996.
Yeah.
Which also just sounds like an album from like a bad blues guy from the 90s. Lloyd's Bar, yeah. Does feel like a 1996 album. So now we go to a motel room. Sylvia is pacing around the room, shivering and nervous. The motel manager knocks at the door, saying that she either needs to leave or pay for the night. She grabs out cash from her purse, but when she turns around, she hallucinates a demon's face fade in and out of the manager, which is, you know.
So are we implying that she's so scared that she hasn't gone out to pay for an additional night?
Yeah.
Because she's a rich surgeon. The idea that this guy is like, hey, you're not paying.
Also, they didn't have credit cards then? You could just leave the card at the...
He just threw money at him.
Throws a lot of cash at the guy.
Yeah. Which again, be like, I think she kind of has this coming.
Yeah. That's how you're responding to the help. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm also not fully sure I understand what her logic is here about the like fleeing to a motel
rather than her own house. I don't know.
She seems like she should have like a panic room.
Yeah.
Or something like more
expecting this to happen.
More like in line with her wealth, or maybe that she's prepped a little bit. Yeah. But she's just like, I'll go to a motel room, which famously you can't kick a door in.
No.
Like,
you would think there had been like a whole like alternate like business that was created to like help people who are like to just like make people pay for like elaborate security systems who have like made deals with the devil.
I will.
Yeah.
I will say,
green metal doors, a padded room, just tons of lot.
It's like from The Purge, right? Where those people do that.
Because I think that might be the one little area of world building that Supernatural never really goes to, which is there are regular citizens out there that have encountered these things and therefore know they're real. So there must be more of a industry.
Yes.
More than just
Yeah.
more than just like a couple of the characters we meet along the way that they kind of barter for supplies or something. I feel like there should be more of like you go into a hardware store and you give the wink and then they flip a thing around and they go like, here's like sheets of metal that have been like coated with salt. Go build your shelter. Like
in season 7, we get a bit of a guy who sort of is like that, but not like an industry really.
It feels like that's a piece that should be in there. I think you're right. Yeah. There should be a bit of a thing.
Yeah, it's exciting for us.
Yeah. We'll just keep feeding ideas. We're
kind of touching on that.
Oh, really?
Already. So it's like
that's awesome.
Ooh, see, this is I'm all up for this.
That's Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
Love that. We're
I'm
just
so
gonna
excited.
keep throwing stuff out because
We're just like,
we're gonna live vicariously through you making this thing.
Yeah, that's all I want. So when she turns around, she hallucinates this demon's face. She hands the guy the money and slams the door shut.
Yeah, he does like a kind of creepy, like kind of his jaw like goes too far down, like kind of
Just like that.
that was a great impression.
Nailed it.
yeah. Reed Vanier, represented by
Me.
Yeah, today I'll be playing zombie motel guy.
Yeah. Are you now trying to get a
Yeah, that was my audition.
Amazing. So it's let's definitely let's make an appearance as podcasters.
Yes.
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 And something tears
That's
us
a
apart.
step down from the actual Ghostfacers, I think.
I mean, they kind of had one. I mean, it's from an online blog to podcast. I don't think it's basically a sideways step.
A sideways step.
The doctor here is hiding out in the Baskervilles Motel, a reference to the Arthur Conan Doyle, The Hound of Baskervilles, a Sherlock Holmes mystery centering around the mysterious giant black dog.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute? Yeah, I like that.
Never, yeah.
So Lloyd's bar, Sam and Dean walk up to the bar. Dean notices there are yarrow flowers planted in the middle of a bunch of weeds used for summoning rituals. They find it odd that 10 years ago, two people suddenly became sudden successes where there just happens to be a crossroad. Dean starts digging a hole in the center of the crossroad and finds an old metal box buried inside. They open it up and they find a bottle of graveyard dirt, a black cat bone, and other deep hoodoo items used for summoning demons.
I got a quick question here. 'Cause
Okay.
I can't remember, and maybe you guys caught it. Isn't it just any crossroad? Like,
Yeah.
Dean
Yes.
goes
Yeah.
to just Dean goes to just intersection of two streets and starts digging. Like, is that the
Well,
are there just a bunch of potholes in this town now? Because Dean's like, oh, nothing here. Next one. Like,
well, that's the crossroad that's right in front of the bar.
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yes.
You know the part where we started at
I
a
know,
bar?
like, TV holes everywhere.
I do want like a cameo of them just going around town to every crossroad. Like, what about this
Yeah.
one?
At the end of the episode, they're like, looks like we're all done here. And the Impala like hits one on the way out.
I just like it. It's Sam's like, Dean, stop. It's a roundabout.
It's a T. It's not a full cross.
Yeah.
Like, no, that doesn't count, man.
At a three-way stop, you can only make 5-year deals and only for like modest success. Yeah.
It's a fork in the road. You're not getting anything.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So Dean recalls that crossroads are where pacts are made and realizes that these people aren't just summoning the demon, but making deals with it.
Yeah.
Sam says that these people aren't seeing black dogs, but rather hellhounds, demonic pit bulls.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, already terrifying because you can talk to a demon. A dog is, I mean, it's an animal. You're not.
Yeah. Like, it's that you've removed the like ability to reason with or bargain further or anything like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stop down boy and him just like not chase you.
No, that works.
Yeah.
Throw him a chicken leg.
Yeah.
Boom.
There should be a bunch of like demon Instagram accounts that are just their hell doggos. They're just
That's very cute.
Yeah.
I like
it's
that.
just pictures of landscapes because you can't see them.
You see the collar?
That's amazing. So we go back to the motel with Sylvia. There's a rattling at the door. She's crouched down behind the bed, covering her ears and crying. When the banging stops, Sylvia slowly gets up, only to be trampled back to the ground as the hellhound shatters through the glass window, tearing Sylvia to shreds as we see a streak of blood on the carpet. So this is something that a child should see, right?
Listen, way to call me out. I forgot to. Yeah, my daughter caught me watching this.
I mean, of all the things your daughter could catch you doing, I guess it's not that bad, but
Come on. She wasn't paying attention. She was eating a muffin. It's fine.
Well, she's gonna wake up one morning and tell you, I had this crazy dream.
I already now we're at the stage where she goes like, check for dinosaurs. Like when I'm putting her down for like bedtime, I have to like look at her shelves and stuff and tell her there are no dinosaurs.
Why are the dinosaurs a thing?
No idea.
Weird. Not
I mean, I've made her watch Jurassic Park like 20 times, but it can't be that.
Okay,
Well,
so the big T-Rex in the city looking through the window.
hey, that's
Couldn't possibly be that, though.
No. Check for Steppenwolf.
I mean, okay, this is such a tangent, but we were at dinner yesterday, and she was eating like cornbread.
Yeah.
And then she turned to me and she said, turn to dust. And I said, what was that? And she goes, like Darkseid, because I've been watching like the trailer and stuff for the Snyder Cut. And that's like a thing Darkseid says. And now she just goes, turn to dust. And goes, like Darkseid.
And she goes, yeah, like Darkseid.
Yeah.
She crushes a toy in her hand. That's incredible.
Crazy.
What a terrifying thing. I mean, the first time we get a hellhound really tearing someone to shreds, this is something that, I mean, big spoiler, but we're going to see more of this as the show goes on.
Yes.
The hellhounds are one of the scariest things to me in this show. I don't know about y'all.
No, they're terrifying.
You can't see them, so it's like, how do you fight them? Like,
And
Yeah,
also,
no, like, you can't see them.
yeah.
exactly. And so violent the way that, like, more than a lot of the other deaths we see on the show.
I really like the effect of how like the leg of her pants tears and stretches. Like you get the sense of like the ripping and the not, like it's really well done. It's very effective. And like it probably didn't save them budget. Like whatever you're not seeing of Doug, they still have to make it work, but with nothing there. Right?
So we
Like,
recorded that. I mean, we're recording this out of order, and the season finale for season 2 we've also already recorded, but with the VFX supervisor for Supernatural, and yeah, so that one's coming out. Ivan Hayden. We need to get him back on the show and ask him how they did that effect, because that's such a cool effect. I want to know.
I can think of is if she was wearing like kind of like more elastic pants. Maybe they put like strips,
And
like,
pulled.
and then they pulled it, and then it stretched, and then it like, ripped. But I don't know.
This
I
almost
think-
sounds like you, I don't know, created a TV show and are sort of working on filming it or something.
Not at all.
No.
yeah, no, I think it's really effective though. Like, and again, it's the
Where
it's the-
you and I are like, man, it's magic. I don't. Yeah,
it's the terror that you don't see, right? Like it's playing on that kind of classic horror thing too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So now we flash back again to the 1930s. Robert Johnson's Crossroad Blues song is playing in the background. Interesting fact, fun fact, this version used here is actually sung by the real Robert Johnson, and is in fact the only real recording of him ever singing that song. So kind of neat and sort of eerie at the same time.
That's cool.
Yeah. Robert puts his picture in a box with some other hoodoo items, buries the box at the center of the crossroad. He turns around to find the demon and responds with a simple holy.
Yeah.
The actress playing the demon who visits Robert Johnson is the same actress who played Laurie's roommate in Supernatural, Hookman from 2005, the first season.
So cool, yeah.
Yeah, love that.
Like the roommate that keeps being like, "You gonna go fuck?" Like
Yeah.
that roommate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. She was a demon.
Well, that's what the dad thought. That's what Bulldog thought.
He was right. Yeah, I always keep. It's insane that's Bulldog from Frasier. That's still the priest. That's so funny. So Robert tells the demon that he wants her to make him the best blues man that ever lived. She grants him this wish with a kiss. By the time he opens his eyes, she's vanished.
Yeah, it's again great shot.
Like every kiss that I've ever had. By the time I open my eyes, they're gone.
Well, yeah, it's because I only do it when you're sleeping.
Oh no! Oh no! Bad.
Good night, sweet prince.
Kings of Maine.
Well, actually, no. Good night, sweet prince is Hamlet dying.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, you print a Prince of Maine. That's
Prince
it.
of Maine.
Yeah. So now we go to present day. Sam and Dean are discussing this hunt.
That's right.
Dean says that this case is like the Robert Johnson legend, the whole selling your soul at the crossroads deal.
Yeah.
Dean explains that Robert Johnson died choking on his own blood. It feels like a fact we didn't need to know. He was hallucinating and muttering about big black dogs. Like we talked to, it's a real thing. The picture of the black dog that Dean comments on is actually that of a Fenrir, a monstrous wolf in Norse mythology, not a hellhound. His destructive powers were so feared that the gods had no choice but to imprison him. Also, the picture is the god Tyr, a deity noted for his courage and strength.
Fenrir, I think, is canonically like Loki's child.
I think so.
Norse mythology, yeah.
Look at that. Got the knowledge. I like it. Dean shows Sam the article with a picture of this big black dog after making a comment about them hunting legs. That was from before. Sam says they need to find out any more people made deals like this with this demon, because I mean now they're potentially dealing with a ton of these issues, right?
Yeah, Dean is sort of like, do we kind of like what we were saying? He's like, do we have to clean up this mess? He says something like, someone goes over Niagara in a barrel, you're gonna jump in after them. Like,
I mean, kind of also going
kind of like, what are we supposed to do here? And also, they did this to themselves.
Exactly. Dean believes they should just forget about the case because it's all their decision to make these deals.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. Sam still insists that they shouldn't leave these people to die despite how Dean feels. He agrees to continue on with the hunt. Yeah. So now we go to George Darrow's apartment.
Yeah, this is, I think, the saddest part of this episode.
Totally. Feeling sort of like as an artist and like, yeah.
Well, because this is the thing. So they go to visit this guy and he's got all these great paintings around him. What we learn in this scene is that he had made a deal 10 years ago, and he says, I made a deal for talent, should have gone for fame. Yeah. Because I got all these paintings nobody wants.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. And he's still broke.
Because just because you make an artist good does not make them famous, right?
It's and that's almost like the monkey's paw thing, right? Where it's like, technically,
we made you the greatest
your wish
artist.
Got granted.
Yeah. But no one's ever going to. You know, one of the things I kept thinking of is I'm like, there can't be like the first person to be asking to be the greatest artist ever. Like in context to like the next person they go to is also like, I want to be the greatest artist, and they're like, oh god, can you be more specific? Can you choose a medium? Like if you just say artist, like I just gave this guy and
yeah, like if you give someone the greatest artist who ever lived deal,
yeah,
and then like only a year later you go to give that deal to someone else,
yeah.
Does that mean that technically that other person can get out of their deal?
Right.
Because they're no longer the greatest artist?
I think they're being like...
Loopholes, yeah.
Yeah. They're like, can you just like be like area specific or something? Like just because I just made that deal.
I don't know if either of you are like into comics at all, but if you like obviously you like the occult and supernatural stuff, that idea of finding loopholes and making deals to get out of deals is like every Constantine comic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when they go to visit George Darrow, the man in the room whose photo was in the box that initially called the Crossroads demon lives in the apartment. His address is 4C or 4C. Play on words throughout the series. This is a thing that actually comes up a lot more that we'll be talking about, but this is the first time we've gotten it. The door suddenly opens.
It's just so sad because he like. Yeah. And he's basically just shuffling around that apartment, like getting ready to be collected. Like,
yeah,
he kind of tells them, it's like, there's nothing you could do for me.
He didn't even want to be saved, really. He was like, get out.
He did pour pepper on the like outside of his door, which the guys see when they show up.
Yeah.
Like he's like trying to figure it out, but like is just sort of doing the wrong things.
Yeah, and he says something like, listen, you just got to like face the consequences sometimes.
I do like the idea that you're like, it's a spice. Salt is purifying. That's pepper. Let's lose pepper.
Yeah.
It's spicy. It'll keep him away. Maybe he'll sneeze.
It's also in this scene, I think, where he says, like, listen, I made a deal. Yeah. I wanted this thing. But what I didn't realize is that demon was just going to stick around. And he says, demon just kept coming to the bar and making deals and stuff like that. So that we sort of find out why there's this rash of like people with their 10-year limit is up.
Which is a thing I think they end up addressing later on in the series about this sort of time period. But all he wants to do is finish one last painting, which again is pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, so sad.
However, he does give them a name of another guy who made a deal, Evan Hudson.
Right.
So we now go to Evan's house. He's working at his desk and he hears barking outside. He's looking out the window but sees nothing. Ironically, there is a beware of dog sign on Hudson's gate, which is
That's
funny.
cute.
Yeah. His wife walks in the room and saying goodbye as she's leaving for the weekend. He gives her a hug, says he loves her before stepping away. Oh yeah, this one's really heartbreaking too.
This one's tough because when she walks in, he's like peering out the window, and she's like, "You spying on the neighbors?" And he's like, "No, I just thought I heard something." And then she's like, "What are you gonna do all weekend?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. Got some bills to pay. I love you so much. I love you so much." You can even see it on her face. She's like, "Oh, he's definitely cheating on me." Like,
so
it's
messed
so
up.
sad that he knows that his time is up and he's being earnest, but he's probably just casting suspicion on himself.
Well, it's like when I was going to propose to my wife, and the whole day I'm like being super weird.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole day she's just like,
Oh, no.
she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And then like by the time I'm actually like doing the proposal part, I'm like getting down on one knee and talking, and we're like at a beach, and she's sort of just like looking away and being like, and I talked to her about it after, and she was like, "Oh, you were doing it all day. I just figured you were being weird and sappy again." And so like the whole time she's just like completely ignoring. She turns around, sees me bending over, she just grabs the ring, looks at it, and sort of like walks away. And I'm like, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, sure."
That's hilarious.
So funny.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
Great story, though.
Yo, it's hilarious.
Yeah, see, my proposal is I got off the plane to come and visit my wife. We got into the car, and then I was like, "Huh?"
Oh yeah, because you were gonna do it in some ceremonial way, but you couldn't.
I was never gonna do it in like a big way because I was like, I've only got a couple of weeks to hang out here. I just want to.
Couldn't even bother pulling off to the side of the road.
No, well, the car wasn't moving. It wasn't in transit.
It's a tuck in, engage,
This would have been a lot easier on a city bus.
and so much more romantic. So Sam and Dean show up at Evan's house to try to help him. Thinking the boys are demons, Evan slams the door on them and runs into his study.
Yeah.
They break down the door and go into the study because we're trying to help you.
Yeah.
After convincing him that they aren't demons, even though, you know, the whole breaking into his house thing, they ask what did he ask for? What was the thing, right? Because they're like, your modest house, like, doesn't look like you're super rich and famous. Like, what's going on?
Biggest dick ever. Just a hug to end all hugs.
Just unusable.
Yeah. He was like, I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I can't share this with the world.
Oh my god.
It's only and I'm not even confident because I can't walk into rooms. Evan tells him, "Oh, this what a terrible turn we're about to do." Evan tells him that his wife was dying of cancer, and he begged the demon to save her.
I actually forgot about that. Uh-oh. Could you imagine if instead he wished for the hug?
Oh no. He killed him. He's dying.
When she's gone, I want to be able to lick some serious pipe.
No.
Again, I'm just playing into the idea that I feel so little. I'm with Dean. I feel so little sympathy for these people making devil's bargains. I understand sometimes people are in tough positions, specifically that artist. I think he's the one I feel for the most.
Yeah.
Where it's that one, because he wished for talent, which implies he didn't even have that. He just wanted to make art and he couldn't even do it. Like, that's the one I feel for the most. But for the most part, all of these people, I'm like, you're the one that made the deal, man.
Yeah.
And Dean was like, you know, did you do this for her or did you do this for yourself?
Exactly.
And that was like, I was like, oh.
Yeah, like, I mean, in a way, it almost looks like he does something kind of selfless with it. But yeah, does he just do it because he doesn't want to have to deal with that grief or because he's putting that off? Because now he's going to make her deal with the grief.
Yeah, now she has to
grieve for him being gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So Dean tells Sam to take the goofer dust and keep the hellhounds away.
Yeah.
And that he's going to the Crossroads to summon the demon. Sam basically is like, this is not a good idea with the way that Dean's acting. But Dean goes there anyways, and he heads for the Crossroads.
Yeah.
He puts the box inside of the ground and turns around to find the red-eyed demon, very pleased to see him.
Yeah.
Says she knows all about him and their deal their dad made. Dean requests that they talk inside of the car.
Yeah.
They go back to Evan's house, and Sam's covering every corner with the goofer dust and makes a big circle of dust around Evan, telling him to stay inside the circle no matter what.
Right.
At the Crossroads, as they're walking to the Impala, Dean tells the demon that he wants her to release Evan from his contract. She says that's not negotiable. She can't terminate a binding contract. And as she starts to get into the car, she notices the devil's trap underneath the car. The demon, however, is willing to bring John back just as he was, and Dean would basically be able to live for 10 more years as a reunited family. The brothers finally get confirmation here that John traded his soul for Dean's life. That's the thing they assume, but we actually get confirmation now.
Yeah, and it's like a because the soul selling thing kind of runs like a business. Like the demon's like, oh yeah, I know the deal your dad got. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. She pretending to consider her deal, Dean manages to lure her into another devil's trap, though, and begins to perform an exorcism on her. Yeah. He starts incanting in Latin. The hellhound has gotten into Evan's study now and inching closer and closer to the circle. Mm-hmm. Dean continues to basically do this incantation as the hellhound slowly begins to eat away at the goofer dust. Just basically through just its sheer force, it's starting to blow the dust away.
Yeah.
Before Dean finishes, the demon agrees to end Evan's contract if he lets her out of the devil's trap. She seals the bomb with a kiss. Dean lets her out of the trap and says that Dean should have taken her up on the deal to bring John back.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the demon exorcises itself from the girl's body. Dean doesn't know how he will live, and now he knows the truth about their dad's death, basically. Yeah.
Which I think is worse.
Yeah.
Now.
I actually wonder.
I mean, they kind of suspected, but now he's like, oh, my dad's in hell.
Yeah. Exactly. That's pretty awful. He thinks their dad should have died fighting because that was the legacy, not bargaining for it, right?
Yeah.
Sam reminds Dean that all of the people that their dad saved, and for that matter, the number of people they themselves have saved because of what their dad taught them, that was their dad's legacy, and that they must follow in his footsteps to finish what he started.
Yeah.
Unlike most episodes, this one ends with a preview of events to come, specifically the next 2 episodes, Croatoan and Hunted.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is kind of a unique way to end.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode, folks.
Holy cow.
What an episode. I want to know, Clay, Victoria, what do you all think about this episode? Maybe you can give it a ranking out of 5. And tell me where you think. Now, we're comparing this to the season it's in, because if we compare it to season 5, I mean, it's not fair, right? So we try to compare them on its season, but thinking about sort of season 2 overall, how would you rank this? Maybe a little bit of your idea of what you thought about the episode.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, I would give it a 4. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I really liked the fact that Dean does have to confront that he knows that his dad did that for him and where his dad is, because Dean's character, especially early on, but he's so self-loathing. Yeah. And so, especially with that mindset, to know that his dad is in hell for him, who he thinks isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
It's just really big to me.
Yeah.
Totally. Victoria, what do you think?
I would give it a 7 because I love the lore. And yeah, Dean really beats himself up in this episode.
Wow.
So I feel really bad for Dean. And Sam's always optimistic. You know, but I would probably give it a 7 if I had
the rating
to.
Scale was 5.
Oh, is it 5?
I just thought you really, really liked it, Victoria.
I was like, okay, just go above it. Cool. He said 5.
7 out of 5.
Okay, then mine would be 4. Yeah, mine would be 4. Okay, 4.
Okay, I was just like, wow, you love this episode.
Wow.
See, that's the difference. You're like, wow, she really likes it. I'm over here like, I know this woman and she did not hear the 5.
we got
mine would be 4. Yeah.
We got a real Crossroad Blues stand.
Yeah.
But, well, see,
Yeah.
like funny thing is I'm from Mississippi.
Oh,
So
wow.
So when I saw the episode and it took place in Mississippi, I was like, oh no. Yeah.
Oh, see, this is part where we start noticing that she's got posters of this episode all around her room.
Just that. Yeah.
It's just
Camera
everywhere.
down. Don't look over here.
This way.
She's got
All
some.
the skills.
She's got some of the paintings from that guy's apartment.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
I mean, that's funny though, because she is an artist and she paints.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Suddenly,
yeah.
very well.
And did she get very good very quickly?
Saw my soul, Clay.
Did you,
I don't know.
Oh my God, Clay, I just noticed your pants.
dude? They're Ouija board pants.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Yes,
That's awesome.
they're the
He's
most cool shit ever.
Clay, he's got the best pants I've ever seen.
That's
I want
awesome.
those, yeah.
Paintings.
Those are all her paintings. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh
Oh my God, are
my
those
God.
supernatural paintings?
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Do
the
you-
most part.
First of all, do you
Also, is that a blood splatter
He does-
lampshade?
I do commissions, yes.
Oh, she does commissions.
No more commissions from you.
I'm sure you don't know. I did a very specific commission. If you go and check the Instagram account, The Friendly Pigeon, you'll see the type of commission that I had done.
Basically, for Christmas, as a Christmas gift, Richard commissioned a painting of Dean taking me from behind.
What?
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm down for. But, like, I can't hang that up anywhere.
Yeah, it's
just
sitting
in my
face down in
house.
your closet at
Yeah.
the much like you'd like to be with Gene.
Oh, I'm not in the closet about that at all. Just the painting.
Actual painting.
Oh yeah, no, I got it framed and printed locally. Yeah, it's from a
Now
German
I
artist.
understand.
Yeah, you understand exactly the level.
Yeah,
of
no.
it's like, yeah. Thank you for scarring me for life.
Or finding a new thing about yourself. Who knows?
The most upsetting thing about that gift is that I look so good in that image. The artist gave me like abs. I look great in that picture.
On here?
No,
It's not on the IG. You won't
made
see it
sure.
there, yeah.
It's a little X-rated for the IG,
Yeah,
and you've
These
seen
are
what's on
pretty
that,
X-rated.
so you can imagine.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
It's more X-rated than these. Jesus Christ.
All right, Richard, what do you think of this episode?
I love this episode. This is one that I can always go back to.
Yeah.
What's great is that it's. I mean, besides the MySpace thing, it really is sort of like it's stand on its own is just a great sort of story. You get this like real life thing about Robert Johnson.
Yeah. I like that thing too. Again, like with the H.H. Holmes episode,
Yeah.
I like take something real, take the aspects of it, like him saying black dogs and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then build the lore out from that in
Yeah.
the way that the H.H. Holmes one was like, he died in Philly, and then they kind of work out from there and incorporate the other stuff about him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this episode for that reason. The cinematography is really great. All the day players are awesome. And we get sort of a really new big piece of the supernatural lore with the Crossroads demons, right?
Yeah.
Which sort of further expands and where it creates this like almost like administration within sort of hell. Which,
I always love the idea of
bureaucracy.
hell like that,
Yeah.
like the bureaucracy of the afterlife. I always go in for that. I don't know why, but it's something I like.
It's like the Monsters Incorporated situation.
Yeah.
I'm all about that, right? So I'm going to give this a 4.75 bags of goofer dust.
Ooh, okay. I agree with everything that's been said. I do think it's a good Dean episode because it's funny because it starts him off as being kind of goofy Dean, and then we get this hard turn to like, you could have your dad back.
Yeah.
And then we get daddy issue Dean, of course.
Emotional roller coaster, Dean.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we never get that again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good episode for him. Sam does very little in this episode. Like, I do feel like it's off balance that way a bit. I like the Hellhound like concept, and I think the execution of like the shadows and then that one scene with the pulling and the tearing kind of thing. I think that all works really well. I think I'm going to give this episode. I'm going to give this episode 4 husbands who might or might not be cheating.
Are you
Nice.
talking about yourself?
Of course not.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
You put me in the weird position where I want to defend myself and say I totally could, but what's wrong with you?
Make a stand.
Damn it. I can't win here.
Clay, Victoria, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You are an incredible guest, but even better, maybe social media accounts. So please tell people where to find you, talk about Lineage and where people can find out everything that's going on with that.
So you can find Lineage at lineage_series is where you can find that.
All of my social media is under Seize the Clay. And it just has variations of underscores on everything.
But if you look up Seize the Clay, you'll find it.
Yes, you will find it, I promise.
Awesome. Thank you.
There's some truly amazing Dean cosplay content.
Oh, yeah.
All the Dean cosplay, yeah.
Yeah, his page is just Dean cosplay everywhere. And then Lineage, you can just check out the series and see what we're working on. So
I love it. So good. Well, that is it for this week. If you have a future note about an episode or something we've already talked to, or maybe you just want to say hello and talk about Supernatural with us, you can send us an email.
Ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
Or reach out to us through our various social media platforms.
Yeah, we are at Ghostfacerspod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm looking at TikTok right now. I might even set us up one.
You have to manage it. I don't know what a TikTok is.
Yeah, I'm surprised you can even say it. I'm impressed.
TikTok?
I know a tick. I know you kids. I've been into it. There's some really good, and we may even have a future TikTok star coming on the podcast. So stay tuned for that.
It's Charlie D'Amelio.
Yeah.
No.
You said Charlie, and I got excited.
Yeah.
My buddy Charlie on TikTok.
Oh.
He's huge in the supernatural world.
Yeah.
Send him our way.
I'll send him your stuff.
Please.
Okay,
please
so
do.
what else do we need from you? We need you to use our ideas in your show. We
Put
need you
us
to
in
cast
the show.
me as
Yeah,
young
yeah.
Bobby. We need you to send us more guests for our show.
Wow, this turned out really great for us.
We have a list. We'll send.
This must be a great experience for you.
All right, that's the end of this episode. Please say goodbye, Clay and Victoria.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.